The drama in days of storm of suspicions, heartbreak, and potentially explosive secrets. At the heart of it all is Johnny DiMera, the beloved yet deeply conflicted son of Sami Brady and E.J. DiMera. As his relationships begin to crack under the pressure of what he's hiding, fans are left wondering, is Johnny truly capable of something as dark as pulling the trigger on his own father? It all begins with a question that's been lingering in Sami's mind for days, a question that she's been trying to avoid but can no longer ignore. After all the betrayals, chaos, and tragedy she's endured throughout her life, Sami has become a woman who can sense when something is deeply wrong. And this time, the alarm bells are ringing not for herself, but for her son. Sami has been keeping a close eye on Johnny, especially after EJ's shocking shooting left him clinging to life. In the past, she may have brushed off Johnny's brooding behavior as youthful angst, but something about his recent actions has unsettled her in a way that cuts straight to the heart of a mother's instincts. When the episode opens, Sami is on the verge of asking Johnny the unthinkable, did he shoot his father? But just as the words begin to form, a phone call interrupts her, leaving the question hanging in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. The delay does little to ease Sami's mind. In fact, it may only deepen her fears. Sami is no stranger to painful revelations. She has shared her darkest moments with Johnny over the years, hoping her transparency would inspire him to always be honest with her in return. But now, she's not so sure he's capable of that kind of truth. There's a distance in his eyes. A shadow behind his smile. And when she looks at him, she can't help but wonder if her son is carrying a burden too heavy for even her to understand. Across town, Chanel Dupree DiMera is battling her own wave of confusion and dread. The once light-hearted and affectionate man she married has grown distant and cold. The playful banter, the late-night talks, the shared dreams, all seem to have vanished into thin air. Chanel is beginning to feel like she's living with a stranger. And worse, a stranger who's hiding something. Johnny no longer talks to her the way he used to. He avoids her gaze. He spends long hours out of the house, offering vague explanations and hurried excuses. At first, Chanel chalked it up to stress, maybe even grief over EJ's condition. But now, she's beginning to suspect it's something more sinister. She tries to brush away the thought, how could the man she loves, the man she married, be involved in something so horrific? And yet, that thought keeps creeping in. Spoilers suggest that Chanel will eventually begin to suspect that Johnny may be connected to the shooting. Her intuition is growing stronger with each cold shoulder and deflected question. The warmth that once radiated from Johnny has been replaced by a chilling detachment that frightens her more than she's willing to admit. As both Sami and Chanel watch Johnny with growing unease, their concerns may eventually lead to a confrontation neither of them is ready for. For Sami, it could mean challenging her deepest hopes for her son. For Chanel, it could mean accepting that the love of her life may have betrayed her in a way she never imagined. What makes this story even more gripping is that Johnny hasn't offered any clarity. Viewers have seen him struggle with inner turmoil. He seems tormented, plagued by guilt and fear, but about what, exactly? Is he hiding knowledge of the shooting? Is he covering for someone else? Or did he, in a moment of rage or desperation, actually pull the trigger? Fans of Days of Our Lives know that the DiMera family is no stranger to secrets and lies. Power struggles, betrayals, and shocking crimes have haunted the family tree for generations. And Johnny, as both a DiMera and a Brady, is at the center of two of Salem's most volatile bloodlines. The pressure of legacy, identity, and expectation can twist even the purest soul into something unrecognizable. As the week unfolds, the tension will only intensify. Sami, ever the fighter, may begin to dig deeper, even if it means exposing a painful truth about her own child. Chanel may confront Johnny in a moment of desperation, demanding answers to questions she's too afraid to ask out loud. And Johnny, isolated and tormented, may spiral into a decision that changes everything, for himself, his family, and the woman he loves. Monday's episode will serve as a turning point in this gripping storyline. It will challenge the bonds of family, marriage, and loyalty in ways that few characters are prepared for. And as the web of secrets begins to unravel, no one in Salem will be left untouched. Is Johnny DiMera a victim of circumstance, or is he hiding the most damning secret of all? And if he did shoot EJ, what drove him to such a shocking act? Was it revenge? Fear? Or something darker still? Next, Days of Our Lives, will EJ DiMera wake up and reveal the truth? A shocking prediction that could shake Salem. The quiet hum of hospital machines is the only sound surrounding EJ DiMera as he lies unconscious in his hospital bed, hooked up to life-sustaining equipment. Salem holds its breath, waiting for a miracle, hoping the man once feared and admired in equal measure will open his eyes and speak the truth everyone is desperate to hear. Who shot EJ DiMera? Will he survive? And more importantly, when he does wake up, will he point his finger at the person who pulled the trigger? This is the mystery that now consumes Salem, and as the days stretch into weeks, the pressure builds. Rumors, suspicions, and secrets swirl like storm clouds, threatening to unleash devastation upon the DiMera family and beyond. Let's take a closer look at what might happen in the coming weeks on Days of Our Lives, as we explore who could be responsible, when EJ may awaken, and what his first words could mean for the future of everyone involved. The moment of truth is coming, but when? Based on the show's pacing and historical story arcs, it's likely that EJ will begin to show signs of regaining consciousness within the next 2 weeks of episodes. Subtle movements, a twitch of a finger, a flicker of his eyelids, may begin to hint that the coma is weakening. Loved ones, especially Nicole, Johnny, and even Sami, will keep a constant vigil, praying for his return to consciousness. However, Days rarely gives us everything at once. While the doctors might soon declare that EJ is out of the woods physically, his mental clarity may remain uncertain. This will allow the writers to draw out the suspense even further. Will EJ remember the shooting? Or will he be too confused, his memory clouded by trauma? We predict that EJ will regain full consciousness during a dramatic Friday cliffhanger episode, possibly within 3 weeks. The monitor will beep erratically. A nurse will shout for Kayla. Nicole will burst into tears as EJ croaks her name. And then, just when the screen fades to black, he'll whisper, "I know who shot me." A dangerous revelation. Will EJ point the finger? The most suspenseful element of EJ's awakening won't be whether he lives, it will be whether he can remember who shot him. Given that he was reportedly shot from a close distance, and that it happened in his own home, it's highly possible he saw the attacker. If EJ does remember, will he tell the truth? Will he call for justice, or protect someone? The DiMeras are famous for their twisted loyalties. And EJ, though brilliant and cunning, has a history of protecting his family, even when they don't deserve it. Some believe that if the shooter was someone like Johnny or Kristen, EJ might hesitate. Not because he condones violence, but because loyalty often comes before justice in the DiMera world. However, others insist that if the person who pulled the trigger was an enemy, like Gabby Hernandez or Ava Vitali, EJ won't hesitate to unleash fury. So, who shot EJ DiMera? The top suspects. Here's a breakdown of the leading suspects in the shooting, and what might happen when EJ wakes up. Johnny DiMera. Johnny has been acting strangely ever since the shooting. He's withdrawn, cold, and increasingly distant from his wife, Chanel. Could he be hiding something? It's possible Johnny discovered a secret about EJ, perhaps something about his role in the family's criminal empire, and snapped. Or, more tragically, maybe Johnny wasn't aiming for EJ at all. Maybe it was an accident. If EJ wakes up and reveals Johnny was the shooter, it could shatter the DiMera family and ruin Johnny's life forever. Kristen DiMera. Never underestimate Kristen. She had access to EJ's home, a motive, perhaps a falling out over DiMera Enterprises, and a history of violence. Kristen claims she's innocent, but then again, she always does. If EJ wakes up and reveals it was Kristen, it would ignite a war within the DiMera family and possibly send her back to prison. Gabby Hernandez. Gabby has long feuded with the DiMeras, and especially EJ. She may have felt backed into a corner over business decisions, revenge, or fear of losing control over her own power. Gabby is bold and impulsive. She may have stormed into EJ's house to confront him, and pulled the trigger in a moment of rage. If EJ fingers her as the shooter, it could destroy her marriage to Stefan and send her straight to prison. Ava Vitali. Ava's involvement seems the most suspicious. She's disappeared, fled town, and reportedly ditched a gun in a public trash bin. All signs point to a guilty conscience. But did she really pull the trigger? Or is she protecting someone else, perhaps her son Trip, or someone she owes a favor to? If EJ says Ava shot him, the police will have to launch a citywide manhunt. But what if he says Ava didn't act alone? Sami Brady. It sounds outrageous. Sami would never hurt EJ, right? But their history is volatile. If EJ had threatened to keep her away from the kids or revealed a dark secret, could Sami have lashed out in a moment of passion? If EJ points to her, it would break the hearts of millions, and possibly ruin her forever. What if EJ doesn't remember? A more dramatic twist would be if EJ wakes up, but doesn't remember who shot him. This would send Salem into an even deeper frenzy. People would begin accusing one another. Some may even try to finish what they started, realizing EJ could eventually remember. Nicole would plead with EJ to take it easy, but behind the scenes, panic would spread. But what if EJ does remember, and lies? What if he says it was someone else entirely? Maybe to protect a loved one? Or to exact revenge in his own twisted way? Final prediction: EJ wakes, remembers, and points the finger at Johnny? In the most dramatic twist imaginable, we believe EJ will wake up, sit upright in his hospital bed during a powerful Friday ending, and speak just one sentence: "It was Johnny." The room will go silent. Nicole will gasp. Chanel will burst into tears. And Johnny, if present, will either flee the room or break down completely. Whether he's guilty or not, the damage will be done. The DiMera family will never be the same again. But is EJ telling the truth, or protecting someone even more dangerous? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: EJ DiMera's awakening is not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. Stay tuned. Because the real drama is just getting started.